Spoiling the Insidious movies before the Red Door comes out, and we are on the fourth and final movie. Insidious: The Last Key opens up in 1953, where we meet a young Elise. Elise lives in a farmhouse with her brother Christian and her parents Gerald and Audrey. As kids, Elise and Christian witness these weird paranormal things, including a ghost in their bedroom, as well as this person that Elise sees in the laundry room one day. So when they see the ghost, Christian tries to call for help using this whistle that his mom gave him, but he can't find it. Eventually, Gerald, their father, who was kind of abusive, comes in and gets pissed and locks Elise in the basement. In the basement, Elise comes across this red door, which she opens and becomes possessed by a demon that kills Audrey, her mother. Fast forward to present day, this is after the events of Insidious 3, but before the events of Insidious 1 and 2. So Elise, Specs, and Tucker get this call from this man named Ted who says that his house is haunted. And Elise looks at the address and realizes that it's her childhood home. When they get there, they're investigating, and Elise finds the whistle that her brother lost as a kid. Elise also sees his female spirit, and she explains to Specs and Tucker that she saw the spirit as a child. We also learn that because her father was abusive, Elise ended up running away and she left her brother Christian behind. Later on, the trio runs into an adult Christian who is still furious at Elise for abandoning him, and they also meet his daughters Imogen and Melissa. And Elise gives Melissa a photo of the whistle and tells her to show it to Christian. Meanwhile, Elise and Tucker go back to the house, and they are guided by the spirit of this girl into the basement, where they find a hidden room. And in the hidden room, they find a very alive woman being held captive. Ted, the guy who now lives in the house and calls them, admits that he's the one that's been holding her captive and then tries to kill Specs. But Specs manages to kill him in self-defense. The police get there, as do Christian and his daughters, because Elise told him the whistle is in there and he wants to go get it. However, while they're there, Melissa is attacked by the demon that possessed Elise in her childhood, who we call Keyface. Keyface sends Melissa's body into a coma while her consciousness is stuck in the further. So exactly what happened to Dalton. So Elise obviously now has to save the day and goes back to the house. And she discovers a bunch of hidden suitcases in the basement that belong to all these random women. One of them being this spirit she saw as a girl. It turns out when she saw this girl as a kid, she was still alive, and her father was keeping her captive and ended up murdering her. So while Elise is putting all this together that her father was murdering women, she is overtaken by Keyface, who then pulls Elise into the further. Imogen, we come to learn, has psychic abilities like Elise that she's inherited, and the spirit of the young woman that Gerald killed leads her into the further. And she shows Imogen this prison of all the souls that Keyface took and is holding, and there she finds Melissa and Elise. Elise at this point comes to understand that her father and Ted were being controlled by Keyface, and that's why they killed all these women. Elise also comes across her younger self and the spirit of her father, Gerald. And Keyface convinces Elise to try and hurt her father's spirit as revenge for how he treated her. So Elise starts to hurt Gerald, but then Imogen is like, no, Keyface feeds off hatred, this is what it wants. Keyface ends up attacking Elise, but in this really beautiful moment, Gerald's spirit attacks Keyface and saves Elise. Keyface stabs Gerald and then also stabs Melissa, which causes her physical body to start dying in the real world. Keyface tries to possess Elise, but she finds Christian's whistle, blows it, and their mother shows up. And her spirit defeats Keyface. They go to try to get out and they open this door, but they see a little boy who we know is Dalton. They realize it's the wrong door and they leave it open. They find Melissa and save her, and her body in the real world is okay. Elise returns to the real world and makes amends with her brother Christian. The final shot is Elise getting a call from her old friend Lorraine asking her to come help her grandson, leading us perfectly into Insidious 1.